All right, welcome. We're talking about the Knicks today, about what they did here in free agency. Let's go ahead and get started. Throw the camera on me for a minute, and let's talk about this young Knicks team. First off, before we get started with the video, I do want to mention we're making a lot of videos over here on the channel, so feel free to subscribe, feel free to comment, feel free to like the video, and let's get started here with the Knicks. Yeah, so New York makes the move of after Oklahoma City buys out Kemba Walker off of his contract. He ends up signing, I believe it was reported as a 2-year, $16 million deal for the Knicks. I wasn't crazy about Kemba Walker, especially last year. He had a lot of issues with health. He had a lot of issues with just kind of being a good, consistent player for the Celtics. Now, is that some of that fit? Is some of that just health? Again, a little bit of a mixture of both, but ultimately didn't have a great year. I'm a little worried about him long term, just because he's a smaller, older player and they break down a lot faster. So I do have some worry there. However, I really do think the fit is perfect for New York. Especially the fact that they're not paying him a whole lot of money. They're going to, again, give him $6 million on average, at least between this year and next year. So it will be interesting to see how he works with the team. Obviously, the Knicks kind of need a point guard. Obviously, they had I think it was Elfrid Payton last year that didn't really work out and kind of lost minutes later in the year. They bring on Derrick Rose last season, who's good, but again, he has some of his limitations. I'm not sure if he's too good on defense. Still isn't like a guy who's known to shoot at a good rate, but he was a little bit better than he had been in his career last year. But yeah, Kemba Walker's a good pickup. I actually had thought that if the Knicks were not able to get anybody in free agency, then I feel like they would have, again, anybody meaning like Kyle Lowry or like DeMar DeRozan, to get more offense on the team. I think I was thinking that maybe there was a trade where they could trade Knox to the Thunder for Kemba Walker and let him absorb the cap space that way. This is better. They sign Evan Fournier, they bring all their guys back, and then they bring in Kemba, who's on a smaller deal than what his, I think it was due 35 to 38 million next year. So a good move there for the Knicks. Now, how it translates to the court, kind of obviously yet to be seen, but we'll just see how it goes, because I think if you do get Kemba at good form, he is really, already he's really good value because of how low his deal is. I mean, Mike Conley is going to go make an average of 22 the next 3 years, and you got Kemba, who, while he's not Mike Conley, and at the very least he's half of Mike Conley when he's very injured and slow, that's still good value that you got for Kemba. So there's guys who are getting paid more, like Duncan Robinson's getting paid more than Kemba Walker. So I like the Kemba pickup. I think it's good. I think it's what they needed. Now, with this kind of their big pickups of the season, of the offseason so far, being Fournier and Kemba, is that enough to push them to be a home court advantage team like they were last year? Well, other teams got better. Other teams are going to bounce back. If you know anything about what I've been saying about my Eastern teams to watch, I think Boston's going to come back. And a lot of people are hating on their offseason, how they haven't made any moves, and they obviously lose Fournier. But look, I think they're a team that, because of the talent at the top, because of the continuity that they have on their team, they're not changing it up. They're bringing guys back that actually worked. I mean, Cantor's going back. We'll talk about the Celtics later, though. So are the Knicks better than those teams? I think they can be, but I'm really interested to see how this offense is going to work out. And let's transition to Julius Randle now. Randle is a dude who they just signed an extension for, and as you can see here on Over the Cap, they talk Randle's cap money here. Now he's a guy who's going to be making about roughly, 29 million over the next four years. That's about all-star money. So you're about saying, okay, you got to be a guy who's going to continuously make the all-star team. Well, the East just got a little bit better with, they're bringing in DeRozan now. Is he a guy who can make the East all-star team? Maybe, probably not. I don't know. And there's guys who got off of the all-star team this year that probably should have been on it. So anyway, in short, I think keeping Randle is a smart decision. I do worry about the money a little bit because, again, you're paying him as if he needs to be an all-star on the team, and if he's not, you know, you're paying him pretty high money. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. Fournier, I understand why you do it. You need some shooting, you need some score. He's very underrated in those categories. He can definitely go and score. If you're watching any of the Olympics right now, Fournier is a good scorer for France, and you know, you can obviously see that he can, you know, be a solid contributor offensively for any team. Does RJ Barrett take another step up? I don't know. But really, I like what the Knicks did. Anytime you bring back, you know, the recipe for success, and you're bringing back guys to, again, make that recipe, I feel like it's a good thing to do. Now, their issue is offense. Is Fournier and Kemba Walker, is the trio of Fournier, Kemba Walker, and Julius Randle with a sprinkle of, hopefully he takes the next step, RJ Barrett. Is that enough to be better than another four, you know, a quad of talent that Chicago has with Ball and DeRozan and Levine and Vucevic? Like, I don't know. So the Knicks are an interesting team. Obviously, I think there's nothing about them that shouts to me that they're like going to be a worse defensive team. I mean, again, they're bringing back solid contributors, and I think they're going to bring back this same defensive mentality for next season. So I still expect them to be a good defensive team, but can they get some more offense going and pushing to get some scoring? I think that's something that is yet to be seen just from these moves. Maybe Fournier averages 19 and Randall averages 23 and Kemba throws in another 18 and RJ jumps to a guy who can score 20 as well. Like, that's kind of the hope, right? Maybe Kemba's not 18, but maybe he's down to an efficient 14. But yeah, I like the Knicks. I think they're going to be pretty solid. I would kind of be shocked if they missed the playoffs, because I still think because defense will get you somewhere in the league. But I just think that they're not going to be that same home court advantage team that we saw last year. So ultimately, that's kind of my opinion on the Knicks. I agree with their moves. Again, you got to pay these guys. So, you know, when I say that I'm not crazy about the Randall money, I still would have done it. I'm just not like super crazy about it. Like, you know, if anyone's bought like a car before, and you know, if you ever invest in something and you're just a little shaky on it and you probably overpaid a little bit, sometimes it's okay, but you know, you just have that little worry in you that it's not going to work out. And that's kind of how I view the Knicks right now. However, I don't think they're going to drop in the standings a bunch. But I also don't see how they're going to compete with the better teams of the East, like Brooklyn and Milwaukee. So that ends my video here. Feel free to comment on the video if you didn't like anything I said. Don't give a thumbs down. Comment. Let's have a conversation about it, and let's talk it out and figure it out that way. So like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're doing a lot of stuff. We're going over Summer League stuff once the Vegas League starts up on Sunday. Obviously, there's still more moves to be made. I believe Dennis Schroeder is still available. Lauri Markkanen has been rumored to be going potentially maybe to the Hornets. But a lot of other things that have yet to be finalized. So subscribe to the channel and you'll be here for all the videos. And other than that, you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.